And this is going to be placing resources that are harvestable on the different layers and levels for your map for ArcDev Kit. Okay, so as you can see up here, we have levels visible are going to be mesh, far, and near. Okay, so mesh is where you put the large rocks that are landscape. It's for a different lesson. The near and far levels are what we're going to be working with right now. And of course, we want to select the one that we're going to work with first. So in this case, we're going to work with B3 far. And we want to have that one visible, and also if we change focus, we can see that's blue. The blue means that that's our active mesh, or active layer, sorry. Okay, so to paint resources, we want to use the foliage tool here. This does rocks, trees, grass, all the stuff that you actually can interact with on the map. Alright, so I'm going to add some trees here, and then this is where we drop them at. So first thing we want to do is we want to go down here and we want to search for trees. Because right now we're going to work with trees. Okay, so we're just going to say tree. And we're going to go in here and we want to find stuff that's appropriate for scorched earth. So scorched is all the way at the bottom. Let's see, so we've got oasis trees, those work. In this window, type in mesh, E-S-H, and that'll give you all of the actual meshes in that subdirectory, and all the subdirectories below this point. So we've got a banana tree, which is part of the scorched earth trees, a big palm, and we've got the big palm clusters. Okay, so those are part of their oasis, which actually it's not too bad. We can do a couple of palms. Alright, so we're going to grab this one. We're just going to hold left click and drag it up and drop it right in this little bar right here. Alright, and give it a moment and it'll load this particular info box. Okay, so what we want to do first, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here just to make it easier. So to make this work, okay, so up here we want to make sure we have, trees, big palm. So we're going to go back down here and find big palm. And there's going to be a big palm static mesh and a big palm foliage settings. And this is for the mesh. Alright, so we want to select the foliage settings, and that you can see there's multiple big palms, there's cluster. This has multiple trees, this has single trees. Right now we're going to work with the single trees. The clusters are, the settings, basically, that needs to go up here where it says not use share settings. We're going to click the arrow to get that dropped in there. I'm going to make this window a little bit bigger because it's missing some information at the top. Alright, after we get this plugged in, that means we can actually put it on the map, but it's not ready to go yet. What we need to do first is next is go to the show settings. So we're going to show instant settings, and that's going to open up a lot more info that we need to find. Okay, so I'm going to kind of fill the window, this little window with this. This information is in this big palm settings. So we're going to open that up. Let's get that out of the way for a moment. And let's move that so it's a little more exposed on the side there. Okay, so we're looking for, we don't really care about most of this here. We're looking for the culling settings in cluster. Cluster settings, we want to replicate this component. That means it's going to put it on the client machine as well as a server. It's important if you're running it on a server. Okay, do not scale, we're not going to worry about that one. Damage factor X, so what do we have there? So we don't have anything for do not scale, but for our damage factor, our damage effects actor to spawn, tree harvest impact emitter. And if you're not sure what this is, because sometimes it'll cut it off, You can hover your mouse over and it'll show you a little tooltip with everything that it's displaying. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to plug that in, and it takes a moment to build the hierarchy. And then we're going to type in, at this point, well, we'll wait till it finishes here. And then we'll go on. Need Jeopardy music here. It can take a little bit of time, especially if you haven't been, if you just started up your dev kit and you're just going into this. Okay, now we can type in tree harvest emitter. So we're going to do tree harvest impact emitter. And you can notice there, if you notice, there's a couple of different ones, but this is the one we want. Okay, now we need to go and see if any of these are different, and then we're going to look for attached components. Okay, so there's nothing different there. But what we're looking for attached component class is wood harvest component. Extra wood. Okay, so let's type in wood, and we're looking for a wood harvest component with extra wood. That's this one down here. So right there, extra wood. So you can notice there's dense wood, less wood in the swamp. There's test, Craig test, seed harvest component plus wood. Basically, these are all the different ones for different types of trees. There's mushroom tree down here, that's aberration. In this case, we just want the component extra wood. Okay, so that gives us a tree that we can hit, and it tells it what to give you for hitting it. Alright, so destroyed mesh, there isn't a destroyed mesh for trees. We're going to use the destroyed mesh is going to be tree falling. And just type in tree and it'll give you tree falling blueprint as the list. Select that. And we're going to do overrides. So down here we got tree falling blueprint, same. And we're going to do our walkable floor Z override and player override are going to be 2.0. Now that is basically a diameter of, what you can, how you can walk around that. It's kind of a collision thing here. So the walkable floor, basically, like I said, we want those set to 2.0. And we want to use is tree falling. That gives us the tree sound. The sound of a falling tree in game. So let's go 2.0 on both of these. And if you hit 2 and just tab, it'll give you the 2.0. It'll round it and put the decimal. Okay, now we're going to check is tree falling. Now calling. This is part of the information that is always wrong. We've got 215,000 and 275,000. Well, culling for this tree is quite a bit lower. So we're just going to copy these and paste them in their proper places. So just one by one, just highlight it, click on it, hit Control C. Click on the next, Control V, and it'll just keep going. As soon as you click on a number, it'll highlight the whole number. And again, we're just going to copy every one of these as they are. Alright, so then we got to go down here to the next one. So we're done with that. We want lighting, and we want to make sure that these are the same. They usually are. Okay, so our lighting looks good. It has everything attached correctly. Object layer 4. Here on collision, this is where it makes it kind of tough. You can't harvest a tree, you can't harvest a tree or even interact with it if it says no collision. There are a lot of different collision methods. There's block all, which you do for rocks that you don't want to harvest. There's ragdoll, invisible, wall dynamic. There's a bunch of different things here that you can choose for it to act as for collision presets. What we're looking for is block all except for IK. IK is basically impact kinetic. So like an axe, a hatchet, punching it, hitting it with a dino, those are all IK specific type impacts. So Alright, so we're going to choose that, and that does match with what we have over here. Next we need receive decals, and receive decals means the trees can take things like shadows and other things that are cast on them as part of their rendering. Alright, we're done with that. You're going to click save on the meshes or the details. Oop. I moved it, so I got to unzoom. Pardon me, let me get my zoom back. My magnifier back up here. Alright, so we got to move this back over here so we can close it. Alright, now we're done setting this up. It is now harvestable. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and hide it, just so it gives me a nice little clean list. And we just select it, put a check mark in this box, and you can start editing. Okay, so let's hide this just a little bit more. Let's open up a little more of our viewpoint here. Whoop. It's not what I wanted. Come on, Arc. Work with me, DevKit. There we go. So we're going to get our viewport up just a little more. And we're going to get over here and place just a couple of random palms to kind of highlight, you know, that this is our little oasis area. I think I like these better than the dragon trees. And this will also help kind of show that, hey, there's something over here. Let's put a couple more, one or two more in. And normally you want to do one. I might be too close to one of the other trees. There are filters that are settings you can do to make it so you have to spread them out. Yeah, that's probably good. That looks like a good amount. We're going to do some more foliage lower, but I think that's good there. Okay, so that's basically how you make a tree and make it harvestable. You can do the same thing with rocks. They have their own settings. Now when you go to play this, we're going to say right click and choose play from here. And it's going to take a few minutes to load this up. So bear with me while it does that. Yes, I know it's got some compiler code it doesn't like. I'm still working on that, and it's a map in progress, so it's going to be a little bit before I get all of that done. Alright, Arc. Play it. Let's go. That should make it so these trees are now, we can now impact them. We can't walk through them, and we can harvest them and get wood. That's the goal. And if everything is set correctly, that's exactly what we'll get. Again, playing in the editor takes a few minutes to load up. So bear with me while this happens. Again, we're working on the B3 far level. These are for trees and large non-harvestable rocks that are not big, huge landscape rocks. This is for large rocks you want to put in for sculpting, but not necessarily harvestables. Then near level is where we're going to put small foliage, small rocks. Oh, you can also put like metal rocks, things like that on the far level. And it's going to take a little bit for this, so don't have much to do except for wait. If it goes much longer, I'll have to probably cut this down and post-editing. Definitely need some Jeopardy music here. Unfortunately, I can't play any music on this because it's going to go on YouTube. And then it'll be, just a... Oh, we fell through. Okay, so it'll respawn us up top. There we go. Alright, so let's click in the window now, get a full screen. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at our inventory and empty it out. We have some things in inventory. You always start with a little bit of wood and thatch and whatever else. Well, we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. Drop all. Okay, and that's so we can now do a quick test. Let's turn that off. Alright, now we've got grass and green, kind of little lush area down here in the middle of the desert. This is all done on the ground clutter layer with the painting. If you have ground clutter on, it'll do this and give you this nice lush look. If you get too much, it'll overdo it. Okay, come on, game. Thank you. Alright, so now let's go up to this tree. Notice we can't walk through it. That's the block all. So that gives us our collision, but if we hit it, we get the sounds and we get the impact setting. Now, do we get anything in our inventory? Yes. We got some thatch out of that. Well, let's go ahead and punch it until it falls down. The editor sounds are a little quiet right now. It's there it goes. The tree fell down. And we have wood and thatch. Now we don't have very much here because we're not harvesting with tools. If you're harvesting with tools, you'll get a lot more. Now mind you, this is also vanilla rates inside the editor. You don't have a choice on that. So none of this now is harvestable. But if we go up to the tree again, the editor is working on loading here. Again, we can just punch at it. We get the sound effects. Let me turn that up just a little bit. That is awful quiet. Now, there we go. That's more like it. And then we got the tree falling noise, which is the is tree falling. That's what needs to be set to get that noise. And there we go. We're harvesting and we've got trees. So that's a quick tutorial on how to do that. And it appears we have leveled up. Alright, so that's a little hint on making things harvestable in Ark. And hopefully that will help somebody that is trying to get that established and figure that out. I'll put more random things on that I don't see already on YouTube in the future. Thanks for watching and take care.